Trisha, you look so cozy in your blanket.
Sick.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's a snuggie. Probably got footies too.
Sorry.
Or is that the
Do you have
cat
that
around the-
awful? Do you have that awful cold that's been going around? Yeah, I had it a couple weeks ago, and my throat's starting to hurt again. I'm like, no, I just got rid of it.
Oh, that's
No,
the
not
worst.
doing that again.
Yeah.
That's probably what, getting down to like 70 there in Arizona.
It was 64 today. Thank you very much. We were
Ooh.
freezing.
It was
Yeah.
like 2 degrees this morning.
It was what?
It was like 2 degrees this morning. I think it's down to 0 tonight.
Gross.
No.
I
Wow.
don't know if we were that
I
cold.
haven't got the hot chocolate out this morning.
Yeah, I turned on my heater the other day.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
Must be rough.
Don't need a heater, Jordan.
I know. I was talking to Dallin and I were talking last night, and my air conditioner kicked on, and I was like, "What the heck is going on? It's December, and my air conditioner is kicking on."
I hear 65 in September.
Yeah. Oh man, I will tell you though, this weekend, it's going to be 80 degrees. 80.
Wow.
We might hit
Yeah.
That's
High
so
30.
freaking cool.
Oh, thank you. That's why I live in.
That's not fun.
Do not chew on that. Okay, so we are live and ready to go. So let me just take a look at this spreadsheet. Did you send it to Dallin? Oh, you did. Dallin, Rex sent us his spreadsheet.
What's that?
Rex sent us a spreadsheet for us to look at, and I'm going to send him the one that we came up with.
Well, if it's the same, you know,
Um,
same as mine.
it's
Let's see here.
It's pretty close. The only difference that I'll send you mine. I broke it out into different scenarios based on our the things that we wanted to negotiate about. So I can send it to you. It's
Or can you share it?
yeah. Yep, I can.
Because I sent these guys our spreadsheet already.
Okay. I'll open mine up and share it with you. It's very similar. Well, do we want to talk about do we just want to have a discussion
Yep.
instead of a negotiation? Like I'm totally cool with that.
Well, there's certain things that we can only go because otherwise we won't make any money.
Right, right. So
Yeah. Kind of our thought is that we've been working together for 3 years already.
Right.
It's just natural that this should be more of a discussion than a negotiation. Like,
Right.
how
No.
can we make both of our
For sure.
companies more successful?
right. And that's kind of what we were thinking too, because we sat back and looked at all the numbers and everything, and what we thought was, if we don't do a licensing deal, it's not going to really affect us, and it's not really going to affect you in the long run because you guys are going to go somewhere else, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing, you know. So it's like as long as terms are favorable for all involved.
I wanted to go national. Is kind of what I was thinking, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. So we were talking about kind of a licensing deal with no exclusivity and then one with exclusivity. So those were our two different options. If we did no exclusivity, you guys as Keurig would pick up the packaging line costs, and we wouldn't, and we would only want to do the exclusivity for a certain amount of years just to test the waters, make sure it works for both parties, and then once we took away that exclusivity, we would get rid of this, and then we would take this on. So it's just kind of like a show of good faith, you know. We thought that you could take that, but this is kind of where. So I have like the total revenue and then the net profit for each of us, based on that scenario. Keurig is the one that's highlighted, and then Green Mountain is the second one. So that was it. I mean,
How much net profit?
about $4 million for Keurig.
Well, how'd you get that much? What's your number?
So I took my total investments, or I took my revenue. So I have the 1,500 times the amount of, I have it over here, the total cups per year. So that's how I got my revenue.
Total cups per year.
Yeah. So in the case, it said it like they do 80, the one brewer makes 1,500 or can support 1,500. I'm sorry. The packaging line makes 1,500. And the brewer, I did that so this is per year. So in that 1 year, the packaging line can make 1,500 brewers, and each office can produce, like, where's the total cups per year? Oops. Let's see. Shoot.
Holy
So
smokes.
they made 34 cups per day, and there was 250 work cups. So
Work days.
right, work days. So this is how many total cups per year each office is gonna take up, like 8,500 cups of coffee.
Right.
So
You do 1,500 brewers?
I did. Yep. So that's just for the True North. So if you go back down here, so per distributor is going to be the 125, and then if you do that times the 1,500 capacity, you're going to get the 4 million. I don't know if that's right. It's
that
probably,
doesn't seem right in math. In my math, I'm looking at 1,500 times.
1,500 times what?
$8,500. How much are you making per cup?
So I did the revenue per distributor, okay, times the 15.
Did you go at 25 cents a cup?
I did. Yep. And then you have
that's,
to figure.
That's what you're selling them for. So that's gross.
Right. But I added that in. That's not multiplied. That's added in. So, whoops. So it's not even. So they're making that much money per distributor.
Because with my numbers, I got like, yeah, we're doing about 637,000 profit.
Let me look at yours one time.
Mine wasn't so complicated.
See, I know. I didn't know. I tend to overcomplicate things.
It looks good.
So bright.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
Looks pretty.
Thank you. Let's see, 1,500, 250. Number of cups per year. I think that's the same. Yeah, you just have yours like. I mean, we're royalties. How did you get the 5 cents royalty? Is that what you guys were going to offer us?
Yeah, if we were getting 5 cents, which would be splitting it right down the middle roughly.
Right.
We'd make 37, what, 6? Hey, my camera's not working, so I guess I can go to my other screen. So we would make $637,500. You'd make $625,000, providing we have 1,500 brewers out there, and we were doing this $12,750,000.
So, from what I understood from the case, not both of us, it would just be one or the other, that would have to pay for that packaging line.
Correct.
So.
And so the one side we got True North going ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Our expenses are higher and everything. Then we got the 700,000, and if you divide that over 5 years, it equals $140,000 a year.
Yep.
So your annual cost would be $2,562,500. your total revenue would be $3,187,500. So you would net 625 that route. Now, if we went with you, this is what you would get. We would get the royalties of 5 cents a cup, and you would have to pay the packaging line, but you'd still make 625 5 cents. But
So I know what we're missing. You don't have working capital in there. That was part of it. In order to run those packaging lines, you had to have 10% of your revenue towards working capital.
That's even more expense. That means you're going to make even less.
Yeah, right. So you're missing that. Let me look at.
How much working capital?
It's 10% of the revenue.
Total revenue?
Uh-huh.
I don't think either one of us is going to make any money.
Well, I think I had that at first, and I went back and really looked at the numbers again, and that's why I think because you have, so my total investments per year, like total investment is going to be 608, 750, because you have the 140 plus the 10% of revenue. And then 468.
And see, that's my, see, I got the cost, order processing per cup, direct per cup cost at 13 and 12 cents per cup. That would be your packaging and stuff. That would include all that.
Oh, if you guys just did it on your own, the 13. Let me go. I have.
Yeah, our cost would be higher per cup.
Right.
Order processing would be higher. But in the end, they both ended up being 19 cents a cup.
Okay, you're missing like how much it costs you to make the brewer.
Well, the brewer we're buying.
Well, not if you do it on your own. If you do it on your own, you have to pay $500 to manufacture it.
For ours only, it says we'll be purchasing them.
So how much do you guys have to purchase it for?
$800 a dang unit.
Huh.
Yeah.
Only for the first 1,000 though.
And
After the first 1,000, it drops down to 500.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm just curious.
So that's mainly to help them with their setup, I guess.
So who are you purchasing? Who would you guys be purchasing the brewers from?
It didn't tell us. It just says that that's what our purchase price would be.
Okay, because then
didn't it say? Let me go back to that real quick because I thought it said that.
It says for Kruger launching. I mean, for launching, Kruger has a contract for $1,000. 1,000 brewers at a cost of about $800 per unit. After initial order, the brewer's unit cost is expected to decline to $500.
Right, and I thought that was just our cost to produce them.
Right.
Well, so we're actually buying them.
Because we have a contract that has it contracted for 1,000 brewers at a cost of about $800 per unit. So we're buying them from somebody.
Okay, because in the
after the initial order, we're making an order after the initial order, then the brewer's unit cost is expected to decline to $500.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because it's our technology. Why would we be buying it from someone else?
Because we're having them make it for us. We've contracted somebody to make them for us. We've outsourced it.
Right.
Okay.
I remember reading that in the actual and they were worried about their manufacturer actually coming into.
The reason why the first ones are so high is because they got all their setup to build the factory, set up a factory to produce them.
Right, but some of that cost we're going to be having the distributors purchase those because generally the distributor purchases the brewers.
And see, that's
and then the distributor
is trying to keep that cost down so we get more distributors, more units out, so we both make more money.
Right.
We're not opposed to doing exclusivity, even though our case study says we should be.
You should be. See, that was the thing. Like ours said that it wasn't a deal breaker. Like exclusivity wasn't a deal breaker. So we were prepared to be like, all right, we'll give you exclusivity.
Kind of maintain it, but that doesn't make sense. If you're working with these guys for the last 3 years and they're building, because you guys went from 5 OCSs, 25 OCSs just in the last year. You've gained 20 OCSs. There's still 1,700, so you only got 25 of the 1,700 across the nation.
Right.
So there would have to be, where you guys are wanting to build is what we're looking at. There would have to be some kind of like contract where, if we weren't building fast enough, we would have the
option
to be able to go to somebody else to get a few more. Because the more you get out there, the more you're going to sell, the more we're going to make money. You're making money on your coffee roasted that's going into the cups because that's what I figured would offset your line costs. Does that make sense? Because if you guys aren't selling at least $140,000 worth of coffee a year, then we're doing something wrong.
Right. And I think another reason that we're not matching is I have a 25-cent royalty to us instead of the 5 cents. That's why our revenues are off too.
Yeah. See, we're selling those. Yes, we're going to sell them 25 cents a cup to those guys.
Well, you're not going to sell them for 50?
No, they turn around and make money by selling them they're going to provide the businesses with a free machine and then sell them the cups for 50 cents. So they buy the machine, the Keurigs, and then they supply the coffee to the...
Right. So we would buy it, okay, because we're Green Mountain.
So we're trying to make it where we're partnering
you guys
together.
Are going to sell it to us for 25 cents a cup, and I'm going to turn around and sell it to my offices for 50 cents a cup.
Well, no. You have made deals with 25 OCSs.
Right.
You had 5, now you're at 25 just in the last year. We went from 5 to 25. And OCS is Office Coffee Services.
Right.
That's what it stands for. There's 1,700 nationally. You've got 25 in the Northeast, up in the New England area.
Right.
So, we want you to go national, and we want to go with you. But we want you to grow. That's why we figured, we should maybe have exclusivity as long as we can grow, like for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And if we don't grow so much in 5 years, then, maybe we can have an option to try to pursue some areas that you're not pursuing. But I think that you would want to pursue those areas.
Right. No, we do. I mean, we want to expand. Like we're not in California, so we want to expand.
What we're trying to do is we're partnering. You're selling the coffee beans
right.
stuff. We're selling the cup and coffee beans. We're merging together to try to be able to figure out what kind of royalties we would get for our idea per cup. And you're wanting to make sure you make money per cup when you sell it to your 25 OCSs.
Mm-hmm.
So you're selling to your OCS for 25 cents, and then your OCS turn around and selling for 50.
Okay,
and they're providing the offices that they have deals with free machines.
Okay, I totally misunderstood that then. I thought you guys were selling it to us for 25 cents, and then we were selling it to the OCS.
Oh, see, you guys want your beans and stuff and your select roasters because you got different flavors and stuff. You want us to use those.
Okay, we're selling to the district. I see. Yep, I have that totally wrong. So that changes. Okay.
And then the little K-cups will have Green Mountain K-cups, and the things that make the coffee is the Keurigs. They take the K-cup, put it in the machine.
Right.
So you're getting your name out there. You're already public. You're already a bigger company. You're established. You have the 25 distributors. We would like to see about 300 distributors after 5 years.
Right.
or 200, you know, whatever.
So
And
based on your model, Rex, then, because I didn't do mine right, you're saying that we're each going to make
roughly 5 cents a
625,000?
cup.
5 cents per cup.
You're actually making 4.9, but I didn't tell you that. But at the spreadsheet, if I don't take it out, you know, it looks like 5 cents a cup. I like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't know how to get it split down the middle, you know. And I figure you're selling the beans and the roasters for the blends to make the cups. So you're going to make money on every cup that's made. Do on that end.
So how did you figure we'd be making 4.9?
It's the second column's yours. Because you're paying us the 5% royalties, and in the end, you come up with that. And then
Right.
there, the 637, that's our royalty payment. How much we'd make in royalties, and you'd make 625,000.
Oh,
Now,
so you didn't multiply that by 5.05.
Yours?
Yeah.
No, that's all formulated. It takes the I got it with the formula there. So if you look at the annual profits, it is, you're doing the E,
Yeah.
you're doing total revenue minus total expenses, 625,000, and if you divide that by the cup, that's the 12,705,000. Then you're going to end up with 4.9 cents or 5 cents. It rounds to 5.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
4.9 something.
Okay, got
So
it.
we're both making roughly 5 cents a thing.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Huh.
If
Interesting.
we go on our own, we're going to make a little bit less. And we'll probably make even less because you guys have the 25 connections right now that we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we want to help you build. I just want it to be fair. You know, I figure you're going to make money by all the beans and roasters you sell for each cup that makes. It's going to have your beans in it that you're selling already. And if we can get more of those out there, you're also going to have your own little roast beans that people can grind their own selves, you know, and package us Green Mountain beans. If they can go right beside the cups too. Can't afford the brewer. Hey, here's our beans. Brew it your own self.
Right.
You know.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and then the money really comes in when you just change the numbers of brewers. Let's say there's, you know, instead of 1,500 brewers, we double that with 3,000. Oops, not 30,000. At 3,000, then, you know, your profit jumps up to almost 1.4 million.
Well, your
It
model
just kinda
definitely
goes-
makes more sense than mine does.
Goes exponentially from there. And then also keeping in mind that in the case study, they said within the next 3 or 4 years, we should have the technology to have a personal brewer for home use. That's going to open that market way up too.
Right.
Then you can be selling the Walmart and Kmart and all the marts.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody has a Keurig now. So we
Right.
know that has happened.
Yeah, I mean, since we had this case study, it's like, man, they do a lot of advertising on TV. I see 2 tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, holy smokes, Green Mountain. So, but yeah, I just thought it would be nice if and if we can grow together. It's just the only thing that makes us a little bit nervous is there's 1,700 OCSs out there, and you're only at 25. But if we work together, we can grow that. You know,
Right. Because
if we had 300, man, that would be just crazy. And if we had half, holy smokes,
well,
we'd be doing jigs in the morning.
we're not in very many.
Yeah, you're just in New England, more or less.
Right. We haven't gotten out west yet. So partnering. I mean, that was the big thing that we talked about is just the partnership. Yeah, it'd be great. There's no reason not to do it.
If you do exclusivity contract, then that helps motivate you because we're going to put like little stipulations saying, hey, we need to grow this much. You grew 20 in the last year. Can you do that each year or whatever, you know? 20 more OCSs a year.
Right.
Is that reasonable? Is that, you know, or whatever? But only 20 a year, that'd only be at 125.
Right.
Still 125, that could be good money. You know, it'd be better if it was 300 or 250.
Well, generally what I found with sales is that when you start growing exponentially. It's
Correct.
not going to be 20 per year that you're growing. You know, next year it'll be 40 and the next year it'll be 80 and
Right.
And if we can get that machine down where we can give it to them for less than $800 or $1,000, they're going to provide offices with it. Because it's going to give competitors, they were cheaper. They're like $500 a unit. But
Yeah, because that's what because in the case study, that's all we knew about was just $500 for the brewer.
Yeah. But I mean, they're the competitors. What that are cheaper? They aren't these personal cup brewers. They're the ones that you throw out a bunch of coffee.
Well, they did. There was one like the Flavia, but they said they weren't worried about that because they weren't really passionate about the coffee business, so they weren't worried about them as a main competitor.
Right.
But they had engineered the technology first.
yeah, they had the technology, but it also had issues if you didn't clean the machine out right every time.
Right.
It would get moldy and nasty. And that is the cutest puppy in the world behind you.
I know, she's pretty cute. She's cute.
But so you know, that's that. I just feel like it's smart to do the exclusive and try to motivate each other to grow.
Yeah. No, I agree. I didn't find any reason to not partner.
And you know, I just figured at 5 cents, if we're both making right around 5 cents a cup, you're making money also on selling your beans and roasters to go in the cups.
Yeah.
Then you probably can afford the out cost of the line.
Yeah.
Although
the only problem is that
although
we're
we've
short on
already made
cash. We're short on cash right now.
Although we've already made a payment of $375 for one of the lines already.
Right. I know. That's the thing. It's like you guys have already put in money anyway. Because when they were doing the office testing, didn't you guys pay for the packaging line?
Something like, I mean, we've paid $375 is what it says in our eyes only stuff.
So why couldn't we? Because we don't like in our for eyes only. We're kind of strapped for cash. So.
But you're the publicly traded company.
Huh?
You're the bigwigs. You're the publicly traded company.
As long as okay, so it says that we only have $800 of cash balance. So doing that, yeah, I guess we could do that. Especially if we see that big of a return on our money. And we get exclusivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
See, our critical thing, our payroll and expenses is $540,000 a year. I mean, if you go under, man, we're not even going to make that if we don't sell enough cups.
Right. That's funny because in my write-up, I wrote that they shouldn't do exclusivity because it kind of prevents them from growing faster. I think we're just limiting ourselves to a smaller roaster. But I mean, now that we've had, the talks about it, it does make sense to grow together.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you've been partnered with these guys for 3 years. It just, when we talked, it's like
It makes sense.
Yeah.
it makes the most sense. And if you can have something in the contract that makes them want to grow and keep the exclusivity, that even makes more sense too. I mean, that's a motivation factor.
Yeah, so why don't we put like a 5-year clause in the contract? At 5 years, you need to be at 300 OCS.
Or 250 or whatever. I don't know. If they did 20 a year, that would be only 125.
Yeah, but you're not going to just do 20 a year.
Right.
As you start getting bigger, it's going to
And
Well,
once
you're
your
gonna have
brand
other-
gets out there, and once people find out about Keurig, and they're really, I thought it was interesting in the case how they said that the Keurig people will become like the office heroes because everybody can get their, you're saving your employees money from running to Starbucks and spending $5 a cup of coffee when they can do it and get the flavor they want right there in the office. So I remember when my dad's office was like, they were talking about putting a Keurig in there, and the cost of it and everything just seemed a little bit overwhelming. But then they thought, well, we could at least put it in there, and then we could ask for, what's your favorite type? And then they ended up, well, now because you can buy your own K cups, it's in the grocery store, but at the time they weren't really out there. But their office loved it because they were saving so much money on coffee.
Well, now you can buy like hot chocolate in the cake.
Oh yeah, my sister has it, and we drink hot chocolate and like hot apple cider, and
So good.
so good. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I mean,
the likelihood of us growing together quickly is pretty good.
but I can't believe that one group that said, "Oh yeah, we'll do 20% on it." Like, you only own 25% of the company. You're going to go down to 5%.
Do they only own 20% of the company?
25%. Our VCs own 75% of the company.
Whoa!
That's in ours.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, and I thought it was when I was reading the case study how they fired the founder so quickly. I was like, whoa!
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, they put him under the bus, and then when we got our thing, it's like, oh, that's how.
No, yeah, because I was like, the VCs must have majority because there's no way they'd be able to get out the founder that easily.
The guy that came up with the idea is gone.
I
The
know.
guy that took the half a yogurt cup was fired.
Like within a couple years.
Yeah.
How many big deadlines did he miss? So I think he kind of needed to
He
go
was
for the company to
demoted.
grow.
He was demoted from CEO, and then he was fired from the chief engineer or whatever.
Can you imagine like that guy now looking back and being like, oh crap. Like I wonder how much equity he owned in it when they fired him. Obviously
Yeah.
the majority.
I want to look up old Mr. Greenwood after, I was waiting until the discussion to see if I can find anything on him.
See how much he left because either they paid him, either they bought him out, which hopefully he was smart enough to retain his holdings because if he knew it was, but I don't know, he just didn't seem like he.
But that early, he might not have got much.
Right, especially if they only had 25% and how many there was how many co-founders too?
Two.
So
Yeah,
if they each had what?
12 and a half.
Well, they lost it as they got these investors, during the rounds. And their valuation wasn't growing as fast as what I think they wanted to do. That's what happens. You get nailed when you invest and your valuation come up for. So.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But it'd be nice to know if he still, he was fired and still had, 5% of the company now.
Yeah.
Ian.
There wasn't any follow-up papers that we were supposed to read, right?
I don't think so. We need to write up just a little bullet point of what we agreed on, the different points.
Here, I'll pull up a Word document and we can.
So the questions there at the end was royalties per cup, how much?
So we decided on 5 cents.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so royalties per cup. 5. Okay. And then we did a 5.
What do we do about who pays for the packaging lines? You guys will eventually do all that, but I think we already. The way
I think we need to we need them to take it from the beginning. From GMCR needs to take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe the 375 was for brewers. I don't know, but it said we said equipment payment made of 375,000.
Okay.
Balance due is 1,125,000. And I looked and I asked these guys if they could figure it out, and I can't figure out what that means.
What? The 350 payment?
It says we paid 375. Said balance due was 1,125,000 in our little write-up thing. for the remainder of the payments on equipment contracts. And then it says, plus we have oh, that's only for 9 months salary, and overhead is 540,000. So then we have 540,000 in salary and overhead for the next 9 months.
I think because in the office line, like when they were running their office test, they said something about making the packaging line.
So I'm thinking we must have paid on the packaging line somewhat already.
Let me see if I can find that. Okay, a
So we could-
prototype.
Well,
packaging line.
So
No, it's not for the packaging lines. It's for equipment vendors. For the people that we contracted with the brewers for. That's what that 375 was for, Rex.
okay, if that's what it is, that would be good. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because I've been worrying about how we're going to come up with money for the brewers. It's like 100,000 for the brewers. They're a little startup.
Okay, so GMCR takes package line cost. We decided on exclusivity.
Yep, we with a option after 5 years, growth option or something like that. How did you want to say it?
With option to like terminate or to
Well,
end
option to seek other vendors if growth is not.
the vendors at 5-year mark.
If growth isn't up to whatever. I don't know the
Growth
number.
isn't.
Let's say 250.
Yeah,
So it's a stretch goal, but it's not unattainable.
I think that's pretty attainable. 300 would be a stretch goal. But I think we could get 250 in 5 years. Because I think once people have it, they're going to be like, the OCS down the road, they have it and they're supplying their clients with it. How do we get one of those? How do we contact those guys? They might be out looking
How
for
many OCRs are there out there? Did you say 1,700?
1,700. They said right around 1,700 of them.
250. That's only 50 a year, and if we just did 20 last year, that's
That's what I'm thinking. That's a very doable goal.
yeah. Okay, so then we've got that. What other things?
No equity is the last one.
Oh,
What if GMRC wants equity in Keurig and there's none to give?
Well, yeah, and we had talked about that as like a last resort if we couldn't come up with anything else. But we didn't realize you guys didn't have that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have any equity to give. Cool.
But I think it'd be a great partnership personally. I just, and I think what ends up happening is Green Mountain bought out Keurig.
Oh, did they?
I think they do. But I could be wrong, but we only have 25%. And normally investors, VCs want out, they own 75%, so I could see them selling it out from underneath us. That's just my thinking from my investment classes and other things. Venture capital, they want
Keurig
out
Green
eventually.
Mountain.
Huh?
Now they're Keurig Green Mountain.
Yeah.
The name. Let me see what it says here.
So they've merged, and I would assume that Green Mountain's the one that bought them out.
Let's see.
Just because VCs want out, and if they own 75% of the company, let's do this little out through acquisition.
So they renamed the Green Mountain, changed its name to Keurig Green Mountain in March of 2014. It says, okay, so Green Mountain did an IPO in 1993, and then they completed its acquisition of the brewing machine manufacturer Keurig in 2006. And then in 2014, they changed their name from Green Mountain to Keurig Green Mountain.
That's pretty good. They went together for 9 years together.
Yeah, and then
hand in hand.
let's see the acquisition. Okay, then a group of investors led by JAB Holding Company would acquire Keurig Green Mountain for $13.9 billion in cash.
Wow.
The acquisition closed in March of 2016. Keurig Green Mountain is now a privately held company. So it's now, and it's an independent entity run by its pre-existing management team and a new CEO.
So they're not publicly traded anymore, huh?
Nope. Nope.
Wow. 13 point, what did you say? 4 billion? 9, almost $14 billion cash.
14 cash.
Wow.
That is crazy. So yeah, they had a good long run together.
Yeah, so I think we went the right way then, sounds like.
Yeah.
But when we're discussing, it's like it doesn't make sense to go in there just saying, oh, there are certain things. We got to make so much money, otherwise we can't cover our payroll expenses and overhead, you know?
Yeah.
And
so it says in 1997, Green Mountain Coffee Roasters became the first roaster to offer coffee in a K-cup. And in 1998, Keurig delivered its first brewing system designed for office use. The launch of the first K-cups in Green Mountain began to further compete with the ubiquitous presence of Starbucks by allowing people to brew their own single servings of premium coffee. It looks like in 98, GMCR closed 12 retail shops in favor of burgeoning direct mail and online markets. They signed an exclusive deal with American Skiing Company. So it looks like they also sold under the Newman owned organic label in 2002.
What's up? Oh, thanks, buddy.
that's
Okay,
crazy.
so they acquired four Keurig additional licenses. Okay, so Green Mountain then acquired. Keurig got 4 other licensees. They had Tolly's Coffee, Timothy World Coffee, Diedrich Coffee, and Van Hout in 2009 and 2010. So they ended up just like.
So it wasn't exclusive in the beginning.
It doesn't say because these didn't happen until 2009 and 2010. So they might have been exclusive
For the first year or something like
for
that?
the first, yeah. Because it doesn't say anything about. I'm looking under Green Mountain. Let me see what Keurig. Early like.
See, what got me was you guys went from 5 to 25 in 1 year in the last year. And I'm like, if they just grew 20, that means they kind of want to grow. So it makes sense to, give them a shot. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Who knows? Sounds like I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, it wasn't exclusive because the first of these, okay, so then they had the additional licenses in the K Cup were those full, although Green Mountain was the dominant brand. So they partnered with a variety of established national U.S. coffee brands for K Cup varieties, and in 2000, the company also branched out in the beverage offerings its K Cup pods to produce hot chocolate and a variety of teas. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's an exclusive.
Yeah, that's silly. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
So I wonder though how much royalties they were getting. Then if it was an exclusive deal. Interesting.
Maybe the negotiations were tough and that's why they had to go other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it looks like they ended up partnering with them. So, I mean, honestly, I don't see why. That was my write-up. I don't see the necessity in being like having the exclusive rights. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like not a deal breaker because I think being that Green Mountain would have been the first one, they're going to have that, oh, hey, they did it, so I should do it. So then they get national recognition that way too.
Yeah, but I just worry that you go and have a bunch of companies. Most people could say, hey, I'm going to make my own type K-Cup.
Right. I know, but they had to have had patents on that, don't you think?
Because don't they have other companies that make a K-Cup?
No, well, I think there are other companies that do the single K-Cup brewing now, but back then there weren't.
But I want to say they call it a K-Cup. Everybody calls it a K-Cup now.
Only if it's licensed under Keurig. It's like their trademark. I don't think. Okay, so I actually looked it up to see what other companies were like competitors. Let's see, single cup. You have Hamilton Beach. I don't think it can be called a K-Cup. But I also wonder, you know, like how a Q-tip is called a Q-tip because that's just the brand name. But if you had like a Walmart brand, you're still going to call it a Q-tip. You know how that brand name kind of correlates with the product and not
or a tissue as a Kleenex.
Right. Yeah. So it could just be that everybody refers to them as a K-Cup, even though technically
it's not, but we call it that anyway.
We still call it that because it's what we associate ourselves with.
Just like the generic aspirins.
Right. You call everything an Advil, even though it's an ibuprofen.
Yep. I mean, aspirin, you know, that was the first to lose their trademark. Because it was considered a generic term.
Okay, so do we just have to submit this little write-up?
I think so.
Just with our, when we post the link?
And see, I think we went a better way than they went.
Yeah.
I think teaming up, you know, trying to help each other grow.
Yeah, and obviously it worked.
But I think the exclusivity would have been the way to go, but who knows? Maybe I'm way off on left field. I have a lot of faith in you guys' ability to make sure we sell enough cups.
Yeah.
Oh.
So do we have to write this in paragraph form or just bullets?
Trying to find where I saw that. I think it was like write a paragraph and just list what we had in bullets, just kind of summarizing what we had.
Do we just put it with our discussion post?
That's why I'm trying to find where I saw that. Let's see. Maybe it was a prep assignment. Nope.
I have to admit, I kind of figured out my grade. And I think I could still get an A in the class without doing my final assignment.
Don't do it, Rex. I did not do one of the Ponder Improves, and it dropped me down to a B+, and I had like all A's. Like,
but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'm a point monger. I like all the points.
I was surprised at how much it dropped my grade. It finally went back up, but it was a B+ for a while, not doing that one assignment.
Yeah, but you know what? After next week, who cares about your GPA?
Seriously.
I do.
I'm so done.
Sorry. Once you have that degree in your hand, your GPA doesn't really come into play anymore. Well, unless you want to get your MBA, then they probably kind of look at that. But
that law final, Jordan? Oh my goodness.
Don't tell me. I don't even. Is that hard?
It was timed.
Timed?
25 questions, and the instructions say 21. I'm pacing myself. First hour I did 11 questions. Rolling up next question. Next 30 minutes.